Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. My name is Wasim Sadiq, and today we are going to talk about domains of professional development of teachers. This one is presented to Sir Dr. Zafar Mahmood, and uh, we are going to discuss some of the matters in it. Special domains that we are going to cover are planning, instructional, and management domains of teachers' development. So let us go ahead with it. And uh, as we know that each development process takes certain steps, especially like planning. Planning is very important in teachers training. So this one is going to affect the learning environment. Show the well trained teacher who is trained in a proper way, it will affect the learning environment, and this will surely facilitate learning, um, and show the teacher they are going to understand their professional responsibilities, that what are their responsibilities and how they can cover this one. Next we have in learning itself is having different domains, like we have cognitive development, language development, and communication with it, then health and physical development, and emotional social development. So they are also a part of very important, and they are integrated with all these domains. What will happen that when there will be a proper training of teacher, and this is going to reflect in the overall performance of the teachers. So what we can say that there is a linkage between professionalism and training. The more trained people are going to be more professional, and some of the traits of professionals that they are they work for self awareness, and also awareness of other, that who are the people they are interacting with, this truth worthiness, that everything will be very responsible, everything will be properly, what we say that it is on the truth, and the things are interlinked with each other. So we will discuss these in uh, its own domain. Right now we are having some different domains that we are going to cover in this presentation. The question also arises that what is professionalism, and what are the development of this one, and then what about the professional development's effect. So professionalism is basically for a person who is going to be professional, and the professional is not a label that you just put on something that, well, this is professional. A teacher is going to have a label on it that, well, see, I'm a teacher, I have a ID card, it is written that I'm a teacher. So this is not the label. This is basically not the label, but you give yourself, it's a description, it's a description you hope other will apply on you, that the others, when they are going to see, they are going to see or interact with a teacher, they are going to say that, well, this is our teacher, this is a role model. So this is required by the professional development of teachers. And how does the professionalism work? Actually, the professionalism works for the personal growth, increase job satisfaction, that the person who is doing the job is going to be satisfied, and the people, those who are linked with the person, with that professional, they are going to be satisfied, and it mitigates, decrease, lower the conflicts. And the most important thing, the sense of responsibility. So the teachers, when they are developed in a proper way, so they take the responsibility. And one more aspect of professionalism is creates an atmosphere of improvement. All the time they are improving themselves, and they are working, and they are also having the last thing, boundaries for them. They don't cross their limits, they don't go beyond their limits and boundaries. That is also very important aspect of a professional. And what about the educational leadership? In educational leadership is about influencing other actions in achieving desirable ends. Leaders are people who shape the goals, motivation, and actions of others. So we see that the leadership is having a vision. The teacher should have a vision. The teacher should encourage the students, and the teacher should empower the students that they can create something, they can do at their own, they are not just going to copy and paste. And the most important thing is that teacher is going to put values in the students and the environment where they work, that the people around them, they are having the values, they are not having just the knowledge, but the values that can be seen by others. That is required by true professionalism. So it's better to define as well as going ahead that professionalism for which one is paid, as opposed to doing voluntarily services. Voluntarily is different things, that someone is not getting paid. And then the expected behavior of individual is specific occupations. In specific occupations they are having specific behaviors with all other things. So these two things, that their behavior is specific and they are paid for their job, they are called professionals. What are the characteristics? That is also important before going towards the domains which we are going to cover, based on philosophy acquired through advanced training, that professionals should acquire the trainings, and that training should be on that philosophy, and then render unique public services which require extensive training, and they provide services after getting training. And work needs thorough preparation, and they prepare themselves for doing any activity. They are not doing something extemporally and they are just going to do something suddenly. No, they are well prepared, and because its unique nature, every job is having its own nature, it requires certain type of preparations, and the professionals are having specialized skills. They have the skills for doing their job, and services should be rendered for the benefit of the public, and their services should be for people. Then there is another thing that is also very important, and sometimes the people, those who think that they are professional but they don't consider this one, that is restrictions. Professionals impose restrictions in two ways. In term of entry requirement, number one, that who can take that profession. There is a restriction that, for example, for teachers in England, the person who wants to teach should have a license, and he should be given a status, okay, and qualified teacher status should be given to the person, then he is going to enter the field of teaching. And in term of operation of the profession, and the second thing, that how he is going to do the job, he is having certain restriction on him or her. There are entry requirements, that is important in each profession. Then there are professional operation requirements the person should fulfill. Then there is a regulation of performance, that how someone is performing, and there are certain regulatory bodies. They are going to see and evaluate that how good a person is doing. And then the person is going to advance. He is not living in the previous decades or previous era. He has to attain the modern uh, knowledge and the required skills. So, someone who is going to all these things, he is going to move ahead, he will be considered a professional, and he will be appreciated by everyone. A good teacher is a professional, and he should be well trained, well qualified, and then he is going to enter. So, what does a good teacher do? Precisely adjust delivery and subject matter. He is just going to deliver his lectures very precisely. He is teaching physics, and he is not going to talk about religious problems, and he is just going to talk about the politics and a lot of other things. He can, but that is in a different mode, and it is nothing to do with his lecture. Understand mood of the audience, and the teacher should have a link between him and the audience. It should be the case that the student should be motivated, and the teacher, a good teacher, should be able to perceive that what is going on. He is not going to pour water while the glass is turned down, or it is bottom up, and the students are not listening. So that is very important. They should be attractive, and they should be receptive, and they should be getting knowledge. Pedagogy or interpersonally salient skills are required, that a good person knows how to teach, and he should be able to journalizing or codifying the skills. The skills, lot of skills are required for teaching, and he should have all these in a proper way, and he is just going to depict them in a proper way. Diversity in circumstances is also a big challenge, that the teacher should consider that what is going on and how the students are going to learn something. So professionals are living exemplars of certain virtues and values. The good professionals are having the values in them. So characteristics, that as we have talked earlier, that they should have relevant and precise and working properly, and they should be interactive, and a lot of other things should be there. So professional development benefits. What is the benefit? The professional development expands your knowledge. It boosts your confidence, and it increases earning potential as well, that a good professional is going to earn a lot more. And professional development can provide networking opportunities, that the people can discuss with each other all these things. The first domain we are going to talk today is planning and preparation. That is very important, that teachers' education is that knowledge, skill, and ability which is relevant to the life of a teacher, and as a teacher, to reshape the attitude, remodel the habits, and in a way to reconstitute the personality of a teacher. Development in knowledge, skills, and attitude, they are basically the first phase, that how we are going to prepare a teacher, and how a teacher is going to prepare himself. Planning and implementation. Educational change successfully is extremely difficult, but if we believe that educational change depends on what teacher do and think, it's as simple and complex as that. So it is not just something like how we are going to get a teacher trained. This is one thing, and the second thing is that how a teacher is going to perceive his training. So it's a complex process, and we can say that if we are talking about teachers training, they are having three domains or three things in it, three stages we can say, before hiring someone: pre-service and induction, when someone is inducted and then given a job. Before giving him the responsibilities, he is trained according to the environment, cultural values and all these things. And during the service, teachers should get training, and all the governments, all the private sectors, they go for teachers training. That is also important. So something that is the planning. So first thing, we identify that, well, there is some problem, some issue, some need, something required. So we design something, that how we are going to mold the behavior of a teacher or teachers, or as a general training, that how we are going to get better, polite teachers, those who are very interactive and all these things. So we identify, we design, we document and decide, and then we plan, and then we implement. And when we implement that planning course, development course, and we close and we see that what happens, and then once again we identify if there are certain issues. Next training session is going to cover those. Application of old and new methods of instruction. This is also in Pakistan, that people are teaching in a different way, and like in English language, there are a lot of people still going for grammar translation method, that is GTM. And all over the world, the people prefer now that they should go for direct method, direct teaching method of English language. So the old and the new, so the people should learn. Ideological basis of education, that is also important, that we should teach our teachers according to the requirements, that what we want from our teachers. The role of guidance and counseling, we should tell them that, well, this is the thing, and the teachers should know that they, as a teacher, they are going to help their students to understand that what type of guidance they are going to provide to the future generation. And all the time, research and education is very important. Community and education, that is integral part of education. Community and teaching education, they are going to be hand in hand. Once again, we say that any developmental process, we have to identify, and then we have to engage, discuss, negotiate term of partnership, that, well, we are going to do this one and this is going to help you. And then we secure the situation and we sign the agreement. The teachers are going to go for training, the trainers are going to provide them. We manage all these things and we get a renew situation, and this is going to help to overcome any issue, any problem. So there are certain people, they are involved in training of teachers, and then ultimately it is going to help inside the classroom. The teacher is going to do certain things, that who is the stakeholder, like the state department, or like government of Punjab or the central government, involved in reviewing the training content, that what is required for the teacher training. It is not going to just waste the time of teachers or the students. And it's very important, very high, inform them when they will receive the training content. For reviewing, set a deadline. So the teachers should be given a proper way, that, well, this is the way you are going to get training and this is the way you are going to get. So there is a very famous saying, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That we have to plan all the time, plan to work day to day, or work for the development of teachers, as a teacher inside the classroom, how we are going to do, what is our lesson plan, what is our strategy to teach this topic. So all the time we have to plan very well. And if we are just going to jump in the class, whether it is a class of grade 10 or 12, or it is a class of teachers who are getting training, and the trainer is without a plan, all these things are going to be a disaster. We have to plan. This is going to help. There is also a very famous mnemonic, polka, And in this one, planning, organizing, leading, controlling, and analysis. This is the process we have to do, and we have to go ahead with it. Second domain is instructional, that how to instruction. The basic reason for instruction, understand the nature of computer assisted instruction. This is the modern one, that how we are going to go for computer assisted instructions. Recognize the non-graded classes concept. This is also one thing, that how we are going to understand that the classes are not graded at the end. So what will be the object, how we are going to give them the instruction. Differentiate between formal and non-formal education. This is also important, that what is the formal, what is non-formal. Become aware of the instructional packages through open schools, distance education, and correspondence education. These are also very important for teachers, that how they are going to teach, what is their mode of teaching, whether they are teaching in a distance language or distance education, they are teaching in corresponding course or something. Understand the use of instructional technique of team teaching, that if you are teaching a team or group teaching or discussion method, these things are very important for teachers to learn, whether whatsoever is their level of understanding of these things. So sometime nowadays, as we know that computer is going to be and is a part of our educational process. Computer assisted instructions are very important. Formal and non-formal education, we have to understand that this is a formal, non-formal, we have to go for that one. And distance education is also playing a very vital part in our teachers training, as well as for the general courses education. So we have to understand all these things. Management and classroom environment, this is also very important domain, where the teachers have to understand. So creating the most important thing inside the classroom is creating a safe, positive classroom environment is key to effective teaching and learning. Sure, that if the classroom is not safe, if the environment is not very conducive, and if the classroom is not without distractions, noise, extreme heat, and a lot of other things, if it is not comfortable and conducive, effective teaching cannot be processed. So we have to make our classrooms very much conducive. And if we are going to have these things, then what will happen, that we have to motivate our students. That is very important. And we shouldn't deal with cheating, that the teacher shouldn't cheat. And if the students are going to see, they are not going to do cheating. And if they are cheating, how we are going to deal with, this is also important. And discouraging and deducting plagiarism, that is also important, that the students are just going to copy and paste. That is not good, and we have to work for it. Incivility, that the impoliteness and the civil manners are not there, so we have to go for that one. We have to train our teachers as well as our students, that they should be having really polite ways to talk. And then there is diversity and creating an inclusive classroom, that we should have the multiple religion we might have. And in case we are having big classes or higher level of classes, sure, there are different ethnic groups, there are different religious groups, and we have to go for inclusive classrooms. Like even there are people, they are going to, might be they are blind, or they are having certain special needs. So we have to understand all these things. And the most important thing is that harassment and discrimination is definitely the biggest challenge. And the teacher should understand that the environment should be so conducive that harassment should be impossible and discrimination should be totally avoided. If there is any type of discrimination, that shouldn't be appreciated, that should be condemned. Discrimination is not good, and professional conduct should be there. So everyone should be conducting everything professionally. The teacher should have or develop understanding. The teacher should have knowledge of the student. That is very important, that who is sitting inside the class. Even the great workshops and other, the people get the data, who is who and from where they come and what is their future goal and all these things, the student should be known to the teachers. Selecting instructional goals, that is also very important, that what goals they are having, and demonstrating knowledge of resources, and it should be demonstrated that what are the sources of knowledge, what references have been utilized in this one. Designing coherent instructions, it should be coherent according to the situation and well matched with the situation. Assessing student learning is also very important, at how we are going to assess, what type of test we are going to take, whether it is going to be a formative or summative or such type of things. Creating an environment of respect and rapport, that is most important, that there should be respect for the teacher, there should be respect for the student, and also there should be a great harmony between them. Establishing a culture for learning, and the classroom environment should be having a culture of learning, that everyone should learn from their visuals, from their audio, and from their kinesthetic happening or doing. They are going to understand all these things. Managing classroom procedures, everything should be according to the procedure. It shouldn't be having any abruptness, that is not going to help. And managing student behavior is also very very important, that they shouldn't be rude, they shouldn't be really lenient or lethargic, or no, there should be a formal environment inside the class that can help to create a very good environment inside the class. So what will happen, that if we are going to have these things, we are going to get reliability, humility, etiquette, neatness, consideration, dedication, organization, accountability, integrity, and expertise. So these are going to be developed by focusing on these domains and working on them. Surely we are going to get a lot better. Thank you very much for your listening. I hope that you have learned something, that how the teachers training can help us and how it is going to affect the students. Thank you very much. Have a very nice day. Allah Hafiz.